Hello everyone, this is Moehawkman, and in today's video, I will be testing out whether opening money chests is a viable money-making method. Now, surprisingly, you can actually make anywhere between 10 and 14 million GP per hour, but if your RNG is really good, you can actually make up to 18 million GP per hour depending on the items that you get. Now, before you do this, I highly recommend opting out of PvP so no players can attack you while you're opening a chest. You can actually do this by talking to Vala in Edgeville near the wilderness border. For your overall setup, I highly recommend a tier 4 wilderness sword for quicker teleports to the wilderness herb patch and for teleporting out of the wilderness at level 30. Bladed dive and double surge is recommended if you want to try and shorten your trips as much as possible. I also recommend the Shadow's Grace relic active or having a mobile perk on, so that way you can lower your surge and bladed dive cooldowns by 50%. Lastly, I recommend bringing your highest melee defensive gear possible because you will be under attack from Ripper Demons while opening the muddy chest. Now I am wearing full Masterwork armor with the Blood Amulet of Fury for the healing procs and my Max Cape and Tyrian Ring Quiver for the extra prayer bonus. I'm also wearing a Luck of the Dwarves ring to increase my luck, but this is not necessary to get any of the drops. You can wear lesser tier armor, but please remember that you will take more damage while opening the chest. For my inventory, I used a pack yak with 30 keys, and I'm also holding 25 keys, plus 3 pieces of food for emergency situations. If you want to maximize each trip, you can use a mammoth instead for the 2 extra keys, and also you can take less emergency food, but I don't recommend doing this because Ripper Demons can hit very often through prayer, and you'll only notice the difference between how many chests you open if you do this for several thousand keys. So if you only plan on doing a few hundred, this will not matter at all. Now onto the trip itself. Start by teleporting to the wilderness herb patch, and then you run west until you reach the entrance of the lava maze. Slash through the first web, and then you run east through the maze, and then slash through the second web. At this point, I recommend you turn on your melee protection prayer before you go into the area with the Ripper Demons and the muddy chest. If you have a penance aura active, you can actually keep your melee protection on at all times because you'll be taking more than enough damage to keep it up, plus you won't have to keep going back to recharge your prayer every single trip. You can probably do it every 2 trips and you'll be perfectly fine. I recommend setting up your action bar in a way so that way you can have your surge, quick prayer, taking from your pack yak all in one button press or 2 button presses, so that way you don't have to constantly keep switching between menus to access your items. Afterwards, run the exact same way out and go directly south until you reach level 30 wilderness to teleport out. Now you can use the wilderness banker to the west if you'd like to, but you have to be out of combat in order to use the bank immediately. Otherwise, you're just going to be wasting your time, and it would be actually faster to just teleport out. Now, there are other bankers near the lava maze, but those bankers are no longer viable because they are all surrounded by aggressive monsters, and you will not be able to access them. On average, every trip is around 4 minutes, so with proper banking, key presses, and surging and blading diving in the right spots, you should be able to open over 800 chests per hour. Now let's move on to the loot. What you're seeing right now is loot from 1000 muddy keys. Majority of the loot comes from the gold, the bloodweed seeds, and the ancient warrior patches, followed by the dragon longswords and the blood runes. There are also some random drops mixed in like crystal keys, adrenaline crystals, and battle staves. I also got a revenant drop enhancer and 2 brawling gloves. I will say one thing though, I did get pretty lucky getting 2 ancient warrior patches and 1000 keys, so you should not expect to get that much from these. Plus the value is also dropping quite a bit because I think a lot of people are doing this. Plus since the changes of the wilderness where you can actually do Slayer out there without worrying about dying, so you're also getting more ancient warrior patches through the grand exchange like that. Now overall, opening money chests can be a very profitable method as long as you're willing to pay the cost of the keys, because farming them yourself is very slow. Now when I bought them off the Grand Exchange, I was able to instant buy them at less than 4k each. The only annoying thing is that you could only get 100 keys every 4 hours, so if you do plan on doing this, you should need to put in the buy orders now because you'll be waiting quite a long time if you plan on doing several thousand keys. Now, would I recommend this as a money making method? Honestly, yes, it does make good money, but it is quite boring and semi-click intensive. The only other reason I would consider doing this is to save money on buying bloodweed seeds, because on the Grand Exchange they're over 100k each, and if you buy them from the bandit camp they're 50k each, when a single money key can give you 1 to 3, and it only costs around 4k each. So you'll have to weigh the benefits of buying the seeds off the Grand Exchange or from the bandit camps, or just doing this method to get them yourself. If you'd like to try this yourself, feel free to do so, but please be careful. Even though the wilderness has been changed to be safer, you can still die out there and lose your money if you're not careful. Anyways, that's all from me today. This has been your fellow RuneScaper Moehawkman. Be kind to one another, stay safe, have a nice day. Peace out, everyone.